Annoying?
That's coming through okay? Levels are okay? I'm just about to go on the questions. Alright. I'm going to put it down now. Okay. Sweet.
Well, I don't know. If you sit there, I'll tell you more.
Well, I mean,
Now you will find out. If you stay down, but you do need to stay now. One of these. There's a way. Yeah, they are in the way there. If you come backwards, slightly. Yeah, you're good there.
What's the guy got a dragster? Yeah, these figures all day. Ronnie Reeves.
because you knocked down at 34.
Yeah. He's still be playing for
Yeah, it is right. And right now,
last time you'll be on that road. Yeah. So many resources. Yeah, who's running the operation? Unbelievable.
It's holy fucking.
All right,
You know that. You know now this. You know this. You know. See this relationship that I have now with the man.
and
No, it's in yes. Yes. It's in these it's quite a big picture that's sitting around in no, actually I had like a meeting and a half lunch. So I hear rest like if I apply the patch. but I showed this lady. To come and say
Okay, so here we go, we're on.
Grab a seat. Everyone, thank you.
Righto, cast of thousands. Well, we're here to establish whether I'm staying or going, so I'm going. I think after 16 years, it's been a wonderful and a privilege time to be involved in rugby in New Zealand, but I think from a New Zealand rugby point of view, I think it's fair that I give them the time to have a process that allows them to not rush in finding a replacement, and the turbulence of trying to find a replacement straight after a World Cup, whether it's been a good one or a bad one, is not really the way to do the process. So I'm really pleased about the timing of it. It also allows me not to be distracted by you guys asking me every 5 minutes, am I staying or going? So that'll be great. We'll be able to just concentrate on what we want to do, which is try and win a World Cup. What are the reasons for going? Well, whilst I know I've still got the support of the Rugby Union, and I appreciate that, and I've still got the backing of the players, and I appreciate that. We've always said that it's about the team first and not the individual, and for me, I think it's right for the team to have someone new after this World Cup. I think some fresh eyes, some fresh thinking, whether that's within or without side of the, whoever the replacement is, it'll be fresh. So I think that'll be great for the enhancement of the legacy of the jersey, and that's the most important thing. And the second thing is my family. I think it's time. They've been brilliantly supportive. Tash, my wife, has run the house at home, and it's time to spend some more time with her. So, yeah. What's next? You'll all be interested. I don't know, so I can't tell you. So don't bother asking, because you'll get that answer. It'll just be I don't know. I'm not focusing on what's next. What I'm focusing on is making sure that we get to next year and we try and retain that Bledisloe Cup, and then try and do something that's not been done before, which is, win 3 of these World Cups in a row. So I'm highly motivated by that, really excited by it, as are the whole group. So that's it from me.
Yeah, look, from New Zealand Rugby's point of view, this has been a massive contribution by Steve. We really appreciate, it's very difficult to put into words, how much we appreciate what he is doing and has done for our team. We're thankful that this process is being announced today. Gives us time. It's already been announced what we're going to do, which is to go through a process following the World Cup. So for the next 9 months or so, it's what can we do to support Steve and his team to win. Once that's over, we'll then get into a process. But for today, it's to appreciate the incredible work that our head coach has done over the last 7 years and to be 8 years. And thank you.
We're happy to answer any questions. I might just from a personal point of view, I've had the pleasure to work almost constantly with Steve for the last 20 years, and I think what I would add, apart from the contribution he's made to the teams he's coached, that whatever organisation he is in and part of has been enriched as well, because he takes a deep interest in what's going on around the place. He takes a deep interest in the people that he works alongside, and he's a very trusted and loyal friend.
Questions? Thank you.
Steve Hansen, how does it feel? You've been in this team environment with the All Blacks since 2004. Is this a weird day for you to be knowing that it will be?
Not really. I think it's just part of the job, isn't it? You know, you take it on and you got to do what's right, and I've just felt that, you know, it's going to happen at one stage or some stage. You're either going to get the chop by someone else, or you make a decision to leave yourself. And thankfully, I've been able to surround myself with good people and good players who have allowed me to make this decision myself. And it's not the end, because we've still got another 12 months to go. So I'm not sort of thinking, you know, reflecting on what's been and what hasn't been. I'm sitting here thinking, righto, well, we've now got that out of the way, and people can go and do the jobs they have to do to, you know, the rugby union can do their job, and now we can get on with our job and have a break, enjoy Christmas, have some good family time, and then hook into it and make that last 12 months a beauty.
Steve, does it feel like a little bit of a weight off your shoulders having now made the decision?
Well, probably made the decision a wee while ago, to be fair, in my own mind, and Tash and I talked about it a lot, and you know, then I talked to Chewy a bit about it, but again, you know, it's not doesn't weigh heavy on you, because you know it's the right thing to do. So, you know, it's an easy decision to make, and as I said, like, it now allows us to, to get on and do what we have to do.
When did you make that decision?
Well, publicly today. Yeah.
Yourself, though? When did you decide that maybe 2019 after that was?
Well, you know, I've been thinking about it for a long time. I think, you know, that's one of the jobs you have as a coach, is to make sure that you're doing what's right for the team. So you reflect on it at the end of every year, and you know, probably halfway through this year, while I was reflecting on what needs to happen for this team, and you start to think, righto, well, it might be time, and then you start having discussions with the people you trust the most, and you know, you get to this point.
Was it a close call, or was it?
Oh, look, I'd like to coach this team for the rest of my living days, but it's not the right thing to do. So, you know, so I wouldn't say it's a close call. It's just the right call.
So it's not a lack of passion for the team. It's,
If I had a lack of passion, I'd be saying I'm finishing today.
but with such a good record, a lot of people would say, why don't you just continue on?
Yeah, well, I guess you know, that's the question they're entitled to ask, but you know, they don't live in your shoes, and they don't live in the team's shoes. So my responsibility is the team and my family. So that's where I've got to the conclusion. So, you know, I really thank the people for all the support they give us, but at the end of the day, it's my job to make the right decisions for the team and myself and my family.
Steve, I know you've spoken about this, but maybe just enlighten us again. This job is a tough job, isn't it? This job does weigh on you a lot. You know, it does exact the toll. Is that part of it? I mean, you know, can you just, have you just had enough of that constant pressure?
No, I wouldn't say I've had enough of the constant pressure. No, I mean, I enjoy a lot of that stuff. You know, you walk out into a stadium that's full of, you know, 60, 70,000 people, and you don't know if you're going to win or you're going to lose, and that, you know, that gets the adrenaline running. But you're also part of the property of New Zealand, and people, you know, you go out for dinner and people will say, oh, look, you know, I hope you don't mind, but can I have a photo? And you don't mind, but, you know, you're with your family, and it's taken away from them. So at some point, for your family's sake, you've got to become just a normal person again.
It'll take a while.
Yeah. and for the team's sake, as I said, they're the two big reasons. Like, it's not about whether you can keep coping with the pressure. It's about what's right for the team from a team point of view, and, you know, getting somebody. I've been there for 16 years, either assistant coach or as a head coach, and, you know, some fresh eyes. Whether it's somebody as I was. I took over in 12, and, you know, it was a fresh pair of eyes who'd been in there for a wee while. Now, whether that happens or whether they get someone from outside, I don't know, but they'll be fresh. They'll be different in there, and they'll bring something different to the table, and hopefully that enhances the team to go to an even higher level, and that's what we want.
Steve, Chu, in 10, 20, 30 years' time, however long it might be, how do you think we'll look back at Steve Hansen's tenure as All Blacks coach? Is it the greatest we've seen?
Oh, I think we all struggle with making comparisons with eras, but there's no doubt that the period Steve's been involved has been a very successful period, not just on the field. I mean, commercially we've grown the things we can do around this group because they're good at that as well as playing. And I think the thing that Steve can be most proud of is that the special thing that makes the All Blacks different has just grown. It's deeper, it's more authentic. We still have men that make mistakes occasionally, but, you know, largely this group carry themselves outstandingly well, and that's all part of Steve's leadership. But, yeah, what will be remembered is, you know, 2 World Cups to date and 16 Bledisloe Cups, and I can't remember how many Investec Rugby Championships and a winning ratio of nearly 90%. No one in sport does that. It's a phenomenal record, and that'll be the memory. In 20 years' time, I'll have some other memories, but because he's not the least demanding person in the world.
Hopefully you'll have some memory.
That's right.
Steve, what a lot of rugby IP with Steve Hansen. How much would you like to keep that on board in the future, in maybe an administration role, or just maybe in some sort of consultation role with NZA?
Have you seen Steve's administration skills? Look, I think
She's over there.
Yeah, exactly. I think whenever you lose someone that's been around for a long time, there's a desire, obviously, to protect what they know and make sure that it doesn't go somewhere else, but also make sure that you can transition that. And I know Steve has been very, very strong on growing the people around him, and the succession process inside that team is well advanced. But yeah, look, we've left that conversation until after Rugby World Cup, and then we'll come back to it. I think Steve wants some time to work out what he wants to do, and I'm thinking he's going to need a bit of space.
In terms of the process of recruiting the next coach, you mentioned, Brent, that'll start, the process starts after World Cup. Does any of it start pre-World Cup, or as soon as that final's played?
Well, all potential candidates we have relationships with, so they'll now all know as a result of today. So I don't think we'll need to put out an advertisement on Seek for the gig. So we will then be talking to them, and then the proper process will start after the World Cup. We've made a very deliberate move that we're not going to engage in a formal process while we've got the runway through till the end of Tokyo. We don't want any distractions from the team performance, and then after that we've got time before things kick off in 2020.
Steve Chu, that said, this All Blacks team has always been known for its succession planning in recent times, and it's been part of its success. How would you describe your succession planning, given your incumbents, what he's announced today, given that one of your preferred candidates has said he doesn't want a job post-2019 in the immediate future? How is your succession planning placed in terms of the coaching position?
I think Brent summed it up well. We've been talking to a lot of people. I think you might have labelled someone our preferred candidate, Mark. We haven't done that. And at the end of the day, there will be a process that I think will be very contestable, and there'll be a number of people put their hand up because because of what Steve's done the last 16 years, it's a great job.
Will you involve Steve in the choice for success?
I doubt he'll be involved in the formal process, but I'm picking we'll get some advice.
Steve Hansen, would you endorse Ian to take over from you? And if so, what traits as a head coach does he have that would make him a good head coach?
Oh, look, I think he'd be a great head coach. He's developed, as a coach, as a man. He's got some great qualities. His understanding of the game is great, but I don't think it's right that I sit here and say, well, that guy should do the job or that guy should do the job. I think that's the rugby union's job, and I've got my opinions, and for one of the very few times in my life, I'll probably keep that opinion to myself because I don't think it's right for the process.
Steve, you mentioned the challenge of the hat-trick of World Cup. You've been through a lot of challenges in the time with the All Blacks. Is this next year the biggest challenge?
Well, the Bledisloe will be the first one. That'll be the biggest because it'll be the one we have to get done. It'll be a real bummer if we let them have that back. But, I don't know if it's the biggest, but it's certainly one of the most exciting things. Like, we're the only team in the world that can do it, so...
I mean, like Brazil have never done it in the World Cup.
No, well, they don't play rugby either, so they can't do it either, but...
They do play rugby.
No, not the soccer team.
and their rugby team doesn't qualify.
But anyway, getting back to the task of the question, it is really, really exciting. I mean, we've been a group that's, by and large, from a management point of view, been together for a long time. There's a playing group there that have won, a couple of World Cups, and there's some guys that'll go to the tournament that haven't won any. So it doesn't matter if we're going to do this job and be successful, then everyone walks away with a prize. I've won one, I've won two, I've won three. But more importantly, we've done something that we've set out to do. It's not going to be easy. It's probably going to be the toughest World Cup. That'll be my fifth one, so I'd say it's going to be the toughest one from a competitive point of view. Northern Hemisphere have really come to the party since the last one and got themselves in good nick. I think Australia and South Africa are both very capable of winning it if they get their stuff sorted. And of course, I think we're very capable of doing the same thing. So, we just got to make sure that we don't make the mistake of wanting it too much and getting outcome focused. We just got to get the processes right, and if we do that, we're in with the hunt. So it's going to be really exciting. And having played the two games in Japan, I think as a destination, it's going to be superb. It'd be great.
Steve Hansen, how much is of a prerequisite is it to have had international experience before you coach the All Blacks?
Look, again, if you get the right person, doesn't matter what they've done. Like, I hear you guys go on about that a fair bit, or you haven't coached overseas, or you haven't done anything in Super Rugby, and the best coach in the world at the moment, and Joe Smith from a World Cup. He got named Coach of the Year. He lost his job at the Blues. Yet he's developed and grown and become, a very, very outstanding coach. That's not to say he wasn't one then either, but it just didn't work. And I hear things about, Fozzie, like, he didn't win anything at the Chiefs. Well, that's because the Crusaders were winning everything at the time. So, those things are irrelevant. I go back to my own career, and I think about, I got both records. I lost the most tests in a row, and I've won the most tests in a row. So I'm either one day I'm a poor coach, or another day I'm a great coach. And things change and evolve, and everyone said that rugby union taking a massive risk and giving me the job, and they did. So I think you've just got to trust the process, and you've got to trust them that they'll do what's right for the team too, and they'll have all the information, and they'll put the right person in place, and you know, it's about a team too. It's about making sure that whoever comes in next has got a good team surrounding him, because you can't do this job by yourself. And whilst, you know, I get a lot of the accolades, it's because of the people with us. It's not just because of me.
Steve, if you're looking back, what are the things that you're most proud of in the way the team has evolved under you and the way you have shaped the role as a head coach of the All Blacks?
Well, I don't want to do that today, you know, because, you know, the job's not finished. It sounds like if I start doing that, it sounds like I've finished. And I don't want to be finished. I've got 12 months where we've got to do something that, you know, and if we do that, that'll be the most proudest thing, to win 3 in a row. You know, so it's not here to go on about my career. It was here just to say, look, it's finishing after 2019, and here's the reasons why, and you know, let's get excited about Christmas and Santa coming, and then get into the rugby season.
Steve Hansen, can you talk us through the process of telling those men next to you that you were going to, I suppose, depart, and did they try and talk you out of it at any point?
It was a pretty easy process once I decided with the big boss. I came and told Chewy, and he said, "Are you sure?" And I said, "Well, we are, yeah." So, and I think he might have told you, Brent, did he? I didn't even tell Brent.
I didn't tell him until you said I could.
That's his job. So, to be fair, I did put Chewy under a bit of pressure, because I told him a while ago and said he wasn't allowed to tell anyone, and to his credit, he didn't. I don't know if that's because he wanted me to change my mind or what, but you know, it was just important that we got the timing right too, and we didn't want a big distraction going through the Northern Hemisphere tour, and you know, it was going to be tough enough as it was.
Steve, I suppose off the back of that then, how hard was it to get under your hat, and how much does that say about the credibility of the man that this hasn't left out at all?
Well, there weren't too many people that knew, so if it leaked, we would have been having a pretty honest conversation about how. No, look, I think, you know, Steve and I have talked for a long time about the way he was going to make this decision. You know, have we tried to talk him out of it? Yes, but not for very long, because I've known him and Tash long enough to know that once they've made a decision, the thought process has been very thorough. And in fact, I suspect I might have had a couple of conversations that were part of that decision-making process. So we've respected that. I've simply told our organisation that we should be preparing for the need to seek a new coach, because if we're prepared and we do need to, then we're ready. If Steve decides to stay, then we'll deal with that information at the time. So we are ready. We respect the decision that's been made, and again, I respect the timing that Steve's chosen. Right? Let's get the season out of the way. Let's let the awards have their space, and let's do it today. And I know he's deliberately planned it so that he can do a couple of more interviews this morning, and then you won't see him for a month. Correct?
And so how have the players reacted to your decision?
Oh, players are pretty flexible. You know, they know that the coaches come and go, and you know, like, they're an outstanding group of men. As Chewy said, every now and again they'll still make mistakes, but you know, there's a lot of people in the room that's still doing that. I'm one of them. So I think the nicest thing is that, yeah, we've enjoyed some good times together, and we've got each other's backs, and you know, we're a really tight group this year, and have been in previous years. So they'll adapt, and whoever the new coach is, they'll get on board with that, and they too know that they have a responsibility to enhance the jersey, and you know, they'll do that. So that's the most important thing.
Steve, before
We'll
you
wrap
go
up,
away-
go after a couple of questions, so.
Before you go away for a month, just seen that Nehi has signed for too long. Was there a conversation about World Cup and that sort of stuff? And I suppose.
Oh, there's always a conversation, but again, I think it's important when these guys make their decision. You know, the first question I ask them is, look, have you thought about this? Have you thought about, is it time in the jersey? And when they tell me they have, then all you can do is support them. And you know, like he hasn't had much luck at all in the last probably 2 years, and he's getting a little older, so he's starting to think, look, I need to make sure I support my family, and the money's good, so I'm going to go. So again, we support him and wish him all the best. And you know, he was good enough to ring and explain to us, so that's all we can ask.
Steve, just how much
We'll wrap up, John, after you. Thanks, mate.
just how much have you changed and adapted since you first got this job in 2012 to now, do you think?
Well, I think we all know that I've got a little bit better with you people.
It's a low base.
Yeah, it was a pretty poor start. Look, I hope I have. I think I have, but really that's for other people to say. And you know, in life, you're always, if you're flexible enough in your thinking and open-minded enough in how you see things, and you know, you grow and you become better. You know, at all the things you try and do, and you know, I know I'm a totally different man than I was. You know, when I first started coaching. I think back to, you know, high school old boys when I started there, and I cringe at some of the stuff I used to do. So, but at that time, that's all I knew, and you know, I've been lucky to have been exposed to a lot of great opportunities to grow, and you know, it's been good.
Thanks, everyone. We'll wrap it up there.
Thanks, team.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
And repeatedly in a specific application. You want the material to cycle through and behave in the same way from one